If you are a person today whose trauma is piqued by what is happening in our country with guns, and specifically what happened yesterday in Texas, if you're a parent or a teacher or a gun violence survivor, or an American who knows that more than 100 people die each day by gun violence, this is for you. Today, we need to be able to be grounded. We need to be able to offer empathy, and to do that, we must take care of ourselves. So for just a second, feel the full weight of your body on your chair or the floor. Take a deep breath in. Release it through your mouth. And on this next inhale, inhale power, courage, love, and empathy from someone who gets it. Come back to yourself now and again today. Drink lots of fluids, take deep breaths, give yourself care and love.
Trying to keep yourself, I guess grounded is a word I know you use. I like to say keeping yourself focused, and definitely with an understanding that this work is hard. You know, it's hard if you don't do the work. It's hard just being Mr. or Mrs. Public, and you turn on the news and you hear it, or someone calls you, or you get something over your phone. But then when you're doing this work, it is hard because your heart and your compassion is there. And, you know, when I heard about Buffalo, I wanted to go to Buffalo. When I heard about California, I wanted to go to California. And you just want to go and you want to reach out. And so, and what that does though, sometimes, right, you kind of overload yourself now from that perspective, because you can only do so much. And God has anointed us. He's given us an anointing to do certain things. And that anointing was on us long before any of our parents existed. And so, you know, but we have what we need to do that. But sometimes we in ourselves want to take on so much more, and that we haven't even been anointed to take on. And that bothers us because of our compassion. You know, and especially with you and myself, we're survivors. So, you know, we're survivors. I'm a survivor from so many different buckets, being shot, you know, and you're a survivor from all these different ways. So it's just a matter of remembering there are scriptures that speak to that God has got us covered, right? And understanding that you're just going to have bad days. Unfortunately, you're going to have hard times, but we were talking before, and healing doesn't happen in a straight line. And so when you have those days that you just feel like I can handle this, and then by afternoon you're going, I can't handle this, and then by night you're going, I'm not going to make it till tomorrow. And trusting in God will take us there.
I think as you were talking, I was thinking about how I, you know, we were just talking about, I did some self-care yesterday morning and felt happy and did a little cartwheel, and then found myself in a back room at my volunteer job last night, completely a mess, texting you. And it made me remember earlier in the week when you texted me and said, you know, are you eating? Can I send you some food to the hospital? And I said, no, I've got it. And it made me remember how, it was making me think about how Brenda Moss, I don't know if you've heard this part of her message, but she always says, you know, we each have a part on the court to play. And I you know, I am not a sports person. But how it made me really think about last night as I was thinking about us getting to talk today, about how, like, in some ways earlier in the week, you knew I maybe needed to tap out and I should have listened to you. And I didn't. And so I love what you're saying. Like, it isn't a straight line, and we have to sort of be on a team together. And part of the hardest part for those of us who are active, at least for me, and I think for you too, it's tapping out and letting your team take the ball for a bit. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, and that is hard. If you are a person that is used to being engaged and you're ready to deploy, I'll just put it that way, right? Because that's where my mind is when there's a homicide here. I don't always go anymore because it's not my job, so I can't go to everyone because I do have, you know, with every town. But as soon as I get the alerts, you know, my mind goes into deployment. Okay, do I need to go to this? What that exactly is? Let me reach out to people, and that's just that just comes with what we do. And so we automatically, it's like, it's a form of muscle memory, right? It's not actually a muscle memory. Well, actually it is, because I go for my phone and I start dialing numbers and looking at that. So that makes really, really a big difference. But you got to, and I'm trying to learn this, right? Nobody should act like they got it all down and doing it perfectly. But we've got to get to where we choose our battle, so to speak, right? This is where I am right now. I probably don't need to go into the fire, so to speak, because I'm already in a fire right now with myself. So maybe I need to stay back. And as much as I want to jump in, it's like double dutch, jumping double dutch. You got to get that timing for the jump, for those ropes, because it's two of them turning. And if you jump at the wrong time, you're going to end up flat on your face. And that's kind of how this works. Seriously, that's kind of how, this works as well if you're not careful. So you got to pick and you got to choose what it is you're going to do. And then be okay when you don't jump in right now. And if you don't, you remember what I was like in 2019. You go into a burnout or a flame out, and that's someplace you don't want to go there. So it's knowing when to jump, but it's also, and I'm gonna stop and let you jump back in, but it's also a thing of having a network. And in building that network, you got to know who is in your network. And by that, I mean, if you're at a point where you need to talk and be able to just express yourself, you don't need a conversation, you need to be able to dump, then you need to know who in your network is the person to call. Because you don't want to call the person who gives you advice when you just need someone to listen. And then we get upset because I needed to talk. And it's like, then why did you call me? You should have called the person who is your ear just for you talking, or who is the person that's going to lift you up. And then I like to call it having that whoa person, the person who you call can say, whoa, but hold up, you what? No, you need to just chill for a minute. And you got to know your network, know who you have, and get your people and have them ready, and know who you are for people.